Hello everybody, this is Gabby's Games and welcome back to Crossout. And well, Crossout to a developer blog that I'm going to review. And by the way, my mic is going to be probably a bit weird, but I'm going to see how well it works. Still having mic issues here, so anyways, we're going to go into the changes and new features that are in progress with the special test server. I have not been on the Visual Test server, so I have not tried out any of this, but I will actually just talk about what here is good and what here is bad, and which are the things you should be looking forward to. First up, they're returning the Steel's Championship event, the football champions thing. It's been here for quite a few times, and the only really interesting here is the Trial CK for wheels, are trying to put customization kits for wheels, and of course you can get new decor paints and everything. But other than that, there's not really anything new there. I am interested in seeing the CKs for wheels, but at the same time, if you're making CKs for wheels, why not just make more wheels or give us make more models for guns and give us more guns? Because the actual amount of new content has been kind of lacking lately outside of the packs. Of course, they will really rework the first experience and tutorials. So limits of a certain number of parts, teaching new players, change daily task again. The scrap metal earned will not be changed, but it will be different tasks now apparently. And they will remove the cat to cabinet, cat shotgun, machine gun, cannon, and wheels. And instead of visual as the task, cat scrap metal, parts are ready for removed. Resources can be obtained through crafting on faction workbench. And this is something kind of alarming for me. It will really depend on how expensive to craft those new common items will be. But if they're worth more than like 25 scrap metal, then you will actually lose out on money compared to how expensive those parts are currently. So, yeah, that's just something really worrisome for me here. Definitely look out for that. I do not really support that. Do not know why they're changing this kind of stuff yet again. Because the missions are pretty much fine as they are right now, and I really don't get why they should return to that part of the game and changing them. And this here is also something as your reputation increase with the engineer faction, you'll unlock the market, co-driver, and everything. But then receiving and changing engineer badges, that's a way of earning extra cash as a player when you're grinding. Locking that away from level 1, you could have earned 100 or 200 of those badges in those first levels, but now you will not be able to because it's going to be locked. And effectively adding an hour to your grind time initially. In return, all we're getting is when you're reaching certain levels with your factions, you will be able to get one free rare workbench craft for one part. And I really doubt whether that's going to be worth the limitations that they're setting here. And well, it's just again something worrisome because we're already really slow on the grind. It takes really long to get certain parts, and that's something that's known for a really long time. So that's really something to look out for, and I will actually advocate for them to improve this if it actually calls for it. And I'll actually get my other YouTubers probably to do the same, like the other guys in the content creation group, if it really gets worse. So we're just gonna pass on to the next thing because we cannot really get stuck on that. So they want to have new CK mechanics. For the ones that are not familiar with CKs, because you don't really see them at all, they're customization kits that can change the look of, in this case, cabins or guns, and then apparently soon wheels as well. And currently, they're not really obtainable outside of the cabin CKs that are buyable directly through the shop. But now 1 CK can be applied to an unlimited number of parts. And so that means like normally you would have to use 1 CK per gun. So if you had 3 Thunderbolts, you would need 3 Thunderbolt CKs to change them. But now you would only need 1 instead of 3. And you can be removed from any parts at any time outside of the battlefield. I wonder if that means that they're removing the scrap cost to remove CKs. And one thing that is nice, you can apply to both permanent and temporary parts. I guess that is nice since you can now do it to an unlimited amount of items. Compensation of extra CKs being considered. I do hope they will like compensate this in one way or another. Maybe by just like having us be able to change it out for another CK of equal rarity, whatever. You know, something like that. Because for the people that did buy those 3 CKs for their Thunderbolts, those were actually like generally they're either like as expensive or more expensive than the gun itself. Like the Thunderbolt CK was like during the time you could actually buy them were actually like 250 coins or something, and then like the Thunderbolt was 300. So they're expensive. So yeah. Anyways, now we're planning CK map changes here actually. Okay. Okay. Here they're talking about a new map it seems. Bridge on the edge. Central zone is most open part with a capture point inside the crater. Discover for discovering the point. So here they're talking about a new crater-based map. That's interesting. I do hope we get a new map here, unless they're talking about a change from the existing map, which would be a big bummer. But they are also changing Fortress and Nameless Tower. Both are pretty hill terrain, but the landscape, they say, is smoothed out. Which, on one side, I don't mind, but on the other side, I did like hills to snipe from, so I hope they at least have some sniper vantage points there remaining. And at the same time, like, you're all changing that. Why not make them into new maps, or at least I do hope that they like allow us to use the old maps, so the old Fortress, old Nameless Tower, and old the Raider C-17 it is, top of my head, maps back into custom. I really hope they would actually like let those be used in custom. That would be awesome. Anyways, there are gonna be changing some game mode stuff. So first, of course, new maps. Among this is the rotation of Brawls and Bedlam. That's always nice to have more maps for Bedlam. Innovation, we plan to change the map that we're currently playing on and replace 1 tower with 3 towers. That is actually a pain because currently if the Leviathan gets a clear shot on the towers and nobody is there to distract him because he will prioritize players. If there's no player nearby and he will start shooting at the tower will not stand, especially on the second or third Leviathans. So right now, you will need to have a player at 3 different towers and defend them all simultaneously. That's a pain. Okay, of course we will be getting the guaranteed ammunition drop from each enemy destroyed, but still, I don't know whether this is gonna be a good thing or a bad thing. They would have to increase the durability pool from the tower itself, honestly. Oh, in the clan battles, they will reduce the duration of the introduction video, which is the part where you get to see all the enemies and see what weapons they are carrying, and like in the meanwhile they all show yours. So I hope they would just like have the enemy team see what your team is, and your team see have your team see what the enemy team is, because I assume that when you're going to clan wars, you know what your teammates are carrying anyways. So that video would only have to show what your opponent is carrying, so you would have 2 different introduction videos depending on which team you're on. Anyways, they are gonna change the scoring for actions during the decisive round. Don't know what that's really at, but anyways, let's move on to parts. So first, the Ghost cabin is gonna get some buffs, maximum mass, tonnage, and power. which is good because the Gavin is really bad currently. But I guess the biggest problem with the Gavin is the fact that you have a really big hitbox with this Gavin. It's really hard to hide, and the connection points are also less than optimal. So I do hope they would add some like minor connection points somewhere around there, like just fit it somewhere in there. That would be really nice to have. Anyways, next up is gonna be the Howl. The radius of the damage boost perk will increase. And at the same time, additional damage will be slightly reduced. So right now it really was like get point blank, work with things like shotguns. But right now it's gonna be slightly further. Each of the shotguns and therefore increase radius, and then requires small reduction bonus damage. To like it's basically like min maxing to changing it. It's not really buff or nerf, unless the range increase ends up being better than the damage nerf, or vice versa. Then it would be a nerf or buff. Revolver Corvo is getting another buff, accuracy and range. It's still really bad because it has a long reload, and its damage output is not really amazing. Like right now, it's like the last shot deals bonus damage. I think like each consecutive shot that hits should have more damage. That would be something much nicer to have, really. But we'll see what they actually end up doing with this gun. It is an interesting gun because it's like pretty accurate and it can strip relatively fast, but it's like DPS is just horrible. Quasar, physical model of the weapon, so the hitbox is getting a change. We all know Quasar and also the other plasma gun both have huge hitboxes that are way larger than they seem to be. So I hope this fixes it at least a little bit. Arbiter is getting a buff as well, which is definitely something it needed. The perk will be activating faster, so you get the bonus damage much quicker, which is nice, but it doesn't change the fact that the Arbiter does just lacks some health. Like the Reaper here is getting durability increase buff here as well. I do think like Dominican Arbiter should need that as well. Next up is the Hammerfall. The perk will change. I think it was like 200 meter per charge, and you've got 2 charges. But now you have only 1 charge, but it will be 100 meters. What I find quite funny is that they say here it's Hammerfish. So I think from now on I will literally call this shotgun Hammerfish. They said it once and it will never like be undone. Hammerfish. I don't know how they managed to change that, but now it's Hammerfish. Now here's Pulsar. They did not change the damage model of the Pulsar. Well, they did do it with the Quasar because both are kind of fucked up in their hitboxes. But the reload time is getting an increase because they're slightly too inefficient, according to their data here. And Scorpion, with the recent changes, they end up like destroying frames a lot. And right now, it will no longer ignore the damage resistance of parts, which is a really good thing. Because, like, in this over single frame, the car loses the ability to move and becomes useless. So this was something I think Tree Burgers really pointed out from the top of my head, like Scorpions one-shotting even like 4x8 frames. It seems like they at least noticed the video and changed it. I am sometimes bummed that they like seem to listen to videos more than they listen to forum posts. But I guess that at the same time, they at least listen to us in a way. Okay. Icarus 4 and Icarus 7 are getting a slight buff by improving the handling, by better decelerate the armored car. So stopping the inertia, of course, means like when you let go of your controls, you would drift a lot. like drift on and it'll take quite a while for you to slow down. So that would be faster. And when you like counter steer or like move in the opposite direction, that should also be happening faster. And at the same time minimize the situation where switch card could climb into places on the maps inaccessible to other players. So this should also decrease the chance of the hovers like really climbing up to higher stuff. And then lastly, decor. All non-tradable decor will no longer occupy space in the warehouse, which is really nice because sometimes you have parts that just take up a lot of inventory space, and now it will no longer do so. Anyways, here they will go and talk about how to get on the test server. And it's only for testing and may not accommodate all players without exception. So since the server's basically minimized, it's not as like as good of a server as normal servers are. Is basically what they're saying here. And of course, point out if you do get on the server, because there are actually nope, that's actually already gone. Never mind. But servers like that servers always do not buy packs on them because they will take your money and you will not actually keep that pack. Just buy it on your normal account and then transfer it to the test server by resetting your account. Because by the way, that's if you guys, by the way, if there's another test server and you have like a part that you want to get on the test server to test, go to your normal account, buy it, then go to your test server account, press escape, and then reset your account, and you should receive that part. And of course, make sure to download the test server in a separate folder because it will replace the normal game if you put it in the normal folder. Then you have to deinstall both and then reinstall the game by hand. That's basically one of the things that they're saying here. And anyways, that's just for the next test server because this test server is already over. But while there are some really interesting changes, of course, we do have to be wary about the changes mainly here with the earning speeds. That's something I really am worried about. But other than that, the balance changes for all the guns do seem pretty nice. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you guys.